Basic Illustrator. Alrighty guys, I want to show you how to open Illustrator the first time. You can go to your launcher at the bottom and you're looking for AI for Adobe Illustrator. Once it actually opens, you can click on the icon at the bottom and have it save in your dock so you don't have to look for it anymore. When you first open it, it's going to show you all your recent files, but you're going to hit create new, and then it's got a bunch of different options for you. You're going to choose print because that's what we're going to be doing most often. You have letter and A3. Those are the two most common sizes we're going to use in class. You can go to the right side over here, change anything that you feel comfortable with. I always change it to inches because, American inches, nobody understands but us. You can also open up an extended window to kind of set some things up. CMYK is going to auto default. That's what we want to keep it at. You're going to click on that button there and then hit create, and then it makes a sort of like a sheet of paper for you. Let's look at the interface with your new file open. So you have all these menus all the way around. There's a menu across the top that's separate from the program. This bar on the left side is the most important toolbar. There are things across the top that go along with it, and this setup on the right are a lot of the little windows that I feel are important to have open. If you go up to Window and go up to Workspaces, you're looking at printing and proofing. That's the one I prefer, but there are different workspaces that you can open. But printing and proofing is my favorite. It has most of the windows open that you're going to need. You can always reset your workspace, so as you move things around, you close things out, you can go back to the original setup that the program sets up for you. Let's go over some basic tools. We're going to start with the shape tool. It's going to say rectangle. It opens up to a bunch of different shapes, and you can actually pull this little guy out so that you can see all of the shapes at once. There are 3 ways to use the shape tool. You can drag out a rectangle or a square by clicking and dragging. You can hold the shift key down and create a square that's constrained to be a perfect square. Or you can click and set an actual size and then click OK and create a square or rectangle that way. The ellipse shape tool works exactly the same way. The selection tool in the top left corner will allow me to click and move any individual shape that I've made. I can also select everything and delete. The star shape is interesting to play with because it will actually allow you to make any type of polygon that you want. Let's look at stroke, fill, and color options. Stroke is the line around your object or shape, and fill is the color in which it's filled with. You can change the color of fill or stroke by clicking on the little icons at the left. You can turn off the stroke or fill by clicking the strike through button under the color. Illustrator does not do layers in the same way that Photoshop does. So if you would like to move the arrangement of your objects, you will have to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back, Bring to Front, Send Backwards, or Bring Forwards. The Gradient tool allows you to make graduated color within an object. You can adjust the colors within the gradient using the Window panel to the right. Next, we're going to talk about making compound shapes using Pathfinder. So I have 2 shapes, a square and a circle. I'm going to go up to Window at the top and open Pathfinder. There are a lot of icons in the Pathfinder window. They will merge, divide, subtract, make compound shapes using the objects that you have selected in your window. Another window that I think is important is the Align window or the Alignment window. It's under Window, Align. It pops up just like the Pathfinder window. It allows you to line up your objects by the center, top, bottom. It also distributes objects evenly. This can be helpful in a lot of ways, just depending on what you're trying to do in your artwork. Let's start looking at some drawing tools. We're going to start with the line tool, and the line tool is just what you think it would be. It's allowing you to draw a straight line. If you held down the shift key, it would constrain to a grid. The pen tool is next. It also opens up and pulls away from the main menu with some options. It could be used for a straight line, but unlike a straight line, it actually allows you to click and create points wherever you'd like. So you could make a shape that isn't necessarily easy to make with the shape tools, and then it would work in the same way as the other shapes do. The pen tool also allows you to make curved lines. So instead of just clicking to make that point, you would actually click and drag, making sort of like a keyframe for a curve. You can use the other tools in that tear out menu to adjust the curve, take away keyframes, or add keyframes. Next is the brush tool, and it allows you to draw a little quicker than the pen tool, but it will also let you go in and manipulate it just like the pen tool. So you can go back to the pen tool settings and kind of make curves or take things away. The blob brush is a little different. I'm going to zoom in so we can see what's going on. It actually fills in when you draw with it. So you can go in and manipulate the edges and make areas wider. That doesn't happen in the actual regular brush tool. What you can do is think of the brush tool or the pen tool as a stroke or a line only that can be closed and then filled, but the blob brush is actually already filled. Now what I'm doing here is I'm showing you what a lot of students I've seen do. You don't fill in areas like with a brush tool like you're drawing in Photoshop. It doesn't work like that in Illustrator, so that's something that you don't want to do. I'm going to show you the pencil tool and the shaper tool. I'm going to open it up and pull it out because there's lots of little tools in here. The shaper tool lets you kind of just draw out shapes and then it corrects it for you, which is really kind of great. The pencil tool lets you draw, and then you can use the smoother tool beside it to kind of change it a little bit. You draw back over the top, so it's kind of almost like restating a line. There's also a tool that lets you take part of the path away. Play with these tools, get familiar with them. We will move forward on the next tutorial.